Hello, my name is Brian Kirsch, and I wanted to talk about something that recently happened, depending, of course, when you watch this video, of a local weather reporter here in the Milwaukee area that got dismissed from her job for putting on her personal social media feed a comment about Elon Musk and a hand gesture he recently did. Now, again, she put this on her personal account, not her business account or corporate account. And she was dismissed from her job. She was a weather reporter and she was summarily dismissed. There's a lot of questions about, is that legal? Is that a First Amendment issue? What have you. So I kind of wanted to just touch base on this because I see all the time a lot of people will put on their social media feeds, this represents my personal view, not my company, all that other stuff. Um, so I see a lot of that. And it's not that, how do I put this? To put it bluntly, that doesn't mean anything. Okay, when you put on your social media feed, this does not reflect the opinions of my employer or what have you. That actually doesn't mean anything. And the reason I say that is when you look at your employment and what most people do, or, so I work at the school, obviously. Other people work at, different companies. A lot of times they have a social media policy, and that dictates you as an employee what you can do. And given that a lot of states are at will to work type of state, meaning you can be fired for any reason and you can quit for any reason. Um, these policies are enforceable. So, despite the fact that it's on a personal feed, you are still basically under that umbrella of your company's social media feed. And people misunderstand that. I don't think they always get that. Um, these rules exist. And, if you say something bad about your employer or something they don't like, yes, you can be dismissed. Um, I get why people think it's not always fair. Um, because people assume that, oh, I have the right to say anything. Yes and no. I mean, there's certain language you cannot use, legally, and then your company can put restrictions on what you can say because at the end of the day, you are a representative of that company. Even if you're not doing PR, you still work for them and represent and everything else. That's the condition of employment. And again, this isn't a free speech violation or right because that's if the government censors you. This is you as a person um, with your company because you have an agreement to work for that company. And that could be a rule on that company, just like you might have to wear a hard hat or safety glasses, what have you. Those are rules a company can put into play that you have to follow. Um, the social media line, I get it, it's gray. And people look at that and say, well, that was a personal feed she did it on and all of that. And I get that. The problem is when you have a personal feed that's public, it's no longer personal. It's actually public. Um, and I know that makes sense when you just say it. But if you truly did have a only personal feed, it would be restrictive. Other people couldn't see it. Just, let's say your family, what have you. That's different than a public feed. And that's what this was a public facing. So it is a concern. It is something that I think people are going to struggle with. And it's a very unfortunate incident. Um, we want to have our right to say things. And I think it's okay to be critical of something in a professional manner. Um, and I think that's probably where this error was. Um, is it wasn't quite done in a professional manner. Now, should it have been a warning or a some kind of disciplinary action versus being terminated? I do think it probably should have been, and that's just a personal opinion. But I also don't know what their policy is. They could have a zero tolerance policy, and that was actually one of the things that was brought up is they don't even have a published policy, and most places do. So just be aware because sometimes this can easily come back and bite you. So I just want to make a quick video on that and kind of explain why that's occurring and steps to take to hopefully avoid it. Because that little disclaimer you put in your Twitter feed or whatever, that's not going to save you. I'm going to tell you that right now. It will not save you. So be aware of that. Okay? Thank you very much.